Welcome to Change Radio News today on Thursday, the 16th of May 2022. The news is read by Loveness Kotora. Stories making the headlines. Zimbabwe will be free, says President Chamisa. ZANU-PF resorts to disruptive actions as majority of Zimbabwe reject PVO bill. Sikala speaks on human rights at a summit in Geneva. And now the stories in detail. The People's President, Advocate Nelson Chamisa, conveyed a message of hope and optimism on social media. He assured the people of Zimbabwe that freedom is on the horizon. President Chamisa said he envisioned a future where Zimbabwe becomes a land characterized by freedom, happiness, peace, pride, and prosperity, using the hashtags #OnePeople, #Tose, and #Sonke. President Chamisa emphasized unity and inclusivity, rallying the nation towards a common vision of a brighter future. The overwhelming rejection of the PVO amendment bill by the citizens has forced ZANU-PF into disruption mode to attempt to stop the hearings taking place. Today, the public hearings of the bill were stopped or delayed in some parts of the country due to ZANU-PF thugs' interference. In Chennai, the hearings were delayed after residents started shouting at each other. Meanwhile, in Masvingo, some people were injured when violence broke out after the chairperson of the meeting, ZANU-PF Senator Robson Mavenyengwa, ignored the citizens' request to move the hearings from Charles Austin Theatre Hall to the larger Masvingo City Hall, since the residents couldn't fit in the small hall. Our Change Radio News reporter Weshira Munya sent in this report from Masvingo.
Today, there was a parliamentary hearing on the Private Voluntary Organization Amendment Bill here in Masvingo at Civic Center Theatre Hall. Unfortunately, this meeting could not proceed after citizens have disrupted the meeting. The identified members of ZANU-PF disrupted the meeting after citizens raised concern that they should move away from a small venue into a bigger civic center hall. Unfortunately, ZANU-PF provincial chairperson and Senator Robson Mavenyengwa, who was chairing this meeting, refused to adhere to the request of citizens. Subsequently, the citizens began to make noise and violence erupted within Masvingo Theatre. As a result, the meeting was disrupted. Mr. Jonah Wakura Kurerwa was injured on his leg due to the fracas and being beaten by ZANU-PF youth members. Some of the citizens who have gone into hiding after they've been threatened by ZANU-PF members. We also spoke to Mr. Prosper Teringindi, who represented the residents of Masvingo. He castigated ZANU-PF youth members for disrupting this meeting. Majority of citizens here in Masvingo have refused the bill to be amended, saying the bill is in its current form is right. They said ZANU-PF want to hijack this bill and impose its people on private organizations. Majority of Masvingo residents said these organizations are very important to give them food, pay their fees, and also to educate them about their rights. Reporting for Change Radio here in Masvingo, Weshira Munya.
Prominent opposition politician and former MP for Zengeza West, Honorable Jabu Sikala, had an opportunity to address an annual democracy and human rights conference in Geneva, Switzerland yesterday. He spoke strongly about his persecution under the Mnangagwa regime and the continuous human rights violations being carried out in Zimbabwe. Let's hear part of his speech.
Thank you very much for this brief time that has been given for me to speak out about the experience that I've gone through in Zimbabwe. I am Job Scala, the surviving political prisoner from Zimbabwe. I'm a prominent lawyer and an opposition member of parliament before my incarceration on the 14th of June 2022. In my more than 3 decades of political career, I've been arrested 68 times. Normally, they would release me on bail. But on June 14, 2022, I was arrested for representing Mo Blessing Ali, a single mother and a political opposition leader who was brutally murdered. They cut her body into 3 pieces and dumped it into a deep well. By the time we finally found her, she was in a decomposed state. And for taking on a feminist legal case, I endured 595 days of pre-trial incarceration at the notorious Krug maximum security prison. It was the only way Zimbabwe's corrupt regime could manipulate the 2023 elections and stop me from participating in them. Inside prison, they denied me food and visits from relatives, colleagues, and friends. When I got sick, they chained me to a hospital bed despite being on a sleeping dose. The regime piled cases against me during the period of my incarceration. And I faced 5 trials and they convicted me on 2 of them. One conviction procured out of the law that does not even exist. Bail rulings pronounced me guilty before the trial even started. Innocent until proven guilty does not apply to anyone who dares to stand up to Mnangagwa's corrupt regime. In July 2023, the regime passed the Patriotic Act, a new repressive legislation targeting free speech and free association. Under that law, I am deemed to be committing a crime just by talking to you today. It's no wonder millions of Zimbabweans have fled persecution abroad. They desperately want to come home to live in a free and democratic society. And that is precisely why I am here today. I hope the world will support us. May the Almighty God bless all of you. Thank you.
The behavior of Mr. Mnangagwa's wife, Auxilia, is causing significant discontent with government circles, with reports indicating that many officials, including cabinet ministers and security personnel, are hesitant to engage in official business with her due to her abusive and volatile demeanor. Reports say she has been misusing state resources for her charity work and has even been accused of physical violence and inappropriate language towards various individuals, including police officers and government officials. Comparisons have been drawn between her conduct and that of former First Lady Grace Mugabe, with contents of history repeating itself. A 53-year-old Chinese national, Li Song, who was recently arrested and charged with fraud for evading paying mandatory duty on goods worth $40,000, appeared in court yesterday. She was granted bail of $300 and remanded to the 27th of June 2024. As we touch on the health sector, shocking details have emerged about the state of the healthcare system in Zimbabwe, where one of the biggest referral hospitals, Makumbe Mission Hospital in Domboshawa, has a mortuary that can only accommodate 3 bodies at a time. This hospital is providing service to more than 600,000 people across Mashonaland East. The revelation came to light when a video of the mortuary was posted online. Change Radio confirmed the video was genuine when it spoke to one of the workers at the hospital, who confirmed it and said the situation remains critical. The Ministry of Health said as of 15th of May 2024, Zimbabwe had 34,016 suspected cholera cases, 3,964 confirmed cases, 33,247 recoveries, 87 confirmed deaths, and 624 suspected deaths. As the cholera continues to affect Zimbabweans, we at Change Radio encourage Zimbabweans to wash their hands with soap over running water, not eat half-cooked meals, not buy vegetables and fruits from the street vendors, boil water before drinking, and maintain good hygiene always. And finally, in sports, in the English Premier League, Manchester United beat Newcastle by 3-2, while Chelsea defeated Brighton by 2-1. To end the news bulletin for today, here are the headlines once more. Zimbabwe will be free, says President Chamisa. ZANU-PF resorts to disruptive actions as the majority of Zimbabwe reject PVO bill. Sikala speaks on human rights at a summit in Geneva. This ends the news bulletin.